Every month, local Iowa state legislators come to Sioux City for an open town hall with discussions, and today one was held in downtown Sioux City. Senator Kevin Alons and state representatives J.D. Schulten, Bob Henderson, Ken Carlson, and Jacob Osman came to the Sioux City Public Museum for that discussion. Iowa residents were given the floor to ask the legislators questions on bills and legislation in Des Moines. Some of the more popular topics discussed surrounded Veterans Affairs, election worker safety, and gender identity bills. But the liveliest discussion throughout the town hall was about the new AEA bills and amendments proposed by Governor Kim Reynolds.
It really was a discussion to say, don't flush us away, keep us in the discussion, and the AEAs have not been in the discussion. And I think my sense in listening to the legislators is that they are hearing that. Hopefully this is a step in the very right direction to continue that dialogue.
The League of Women Voters of Sioux City is a nonpartisan organization, and in these town halls, their goal is to encourage informed and active participation in government affairs and promote understanding on major policy issues.
It's democracy in action, that you can have diverse opinions posed and questions asked, and for the legislators to respond. The political system, you have to listen to both sides. That's most important.
Now, if you'd like to get in on these discussions, the League of Women Voters of Sioux City meets every fourth Saturday of the month at the Sioux City Public Museum.